I was moved by this political profile of you from a few years back where you say, I'm not pretending that this earth suit I'm in, as in your skin, isn't being evaluated. I just don't want to play a game with it.
Yes.
I've heard you talk a lot about the trust gap or the deep divide between the Black community and law enforcement in this country.
Yes.
You've talked powerfully about being stopped by the cops 7 times in 1 year. You just shared with me that you were profiled by cops on Capitol Hill as a senator. So I want to be with you in not playing the race game, but you've admitted, given your own personal experience, that there are still many problems in this country around race. Given all of that, I wonder how you think about the question of systemic racism. Do you think it's real?
I think it was real. I do not think it is real now. I think the systems of our country or the institutions in our country are no longer racist. I think America is not a racist country, while we still struggle with the issue of race. One of the things I believe is that what we suffer from today, Barry, especially in the area of race, is an accounting on both sides of the ledger. I am painfully clear and honest about the reasons that so many African Americans distrust the police. But I'm also clear and optimistic about the reasons why we should. While we have had more as a race, more negative experiences with the police, I think, than any other racial group, it is also 81% of African Americans who want the same level of policing or more policing. What we honestly need is honesty, which means that you have to tell the good side and the bad side. And one of the things I'm committed to is making sure that people get the whole picture of my Black experience as you read through my book, and at the same time, come to your own conclusions by how are you being treated as an individual when you walk into a restaurant or when you walk into a retail shop or when you're hanging out with your friends. Can you actually go into a restaurant that my grandfather and my mother could not go into? Can you have a job, to include being president of the United States or vice president of the United States, if you look like me? Can you rise the ranks in Fortune 500 companies like Ken Chenault did and become the president CEO of American Express? And are you all just aberrations and not real? Or is there progress that is measurable? The answer is the latter, not the former.
People accuse you of many things for the sin of being Black and conservative.
Yes.
You've been called unspeakable things, a house N-word, an Uncle Tom, a prop of Trump. Is the racism worse from liberals or from conservatives?
Without question, from liberals. There is a hierarchy that exists within the liberal doctrine, and Black conservatives must be at the bottom of that pit.
Why is that?
You know, I think it's because we're a threat to their notion of reality as opposed to the actual reality itself. I was writing just last night in my journal, and one of the things I was writing about in my journal was how my mother and other African Americans were treated in the 60s, and frankly in the 80s as well when I was a kid. There were certain friends who could not have me over to their house because I was Black. It didn't matter my grades. It didn't matter as being president of the student government. Nothing mattered except for the color of my skin. And today, what you would hear is, don't bring that rhino into my house, Republican in name only. What you would hear is, you're dating a blue voting card and not a red one. What you would hear is that 2/3 of Republicans and 2/3 of Democrats have no friends who aren't partisan warriors. That means that the black and white that I experience is now red and blue, and I am experiencing it more from people who look like me than I am those who do not look like me. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's actually worse. The hypocrisy or the stench that comes from those who have experienced the pain and the misery of being discriminated against, now at the top of the mantle looking down, provides the same level of discrimination, just in a different form. Unconscionable.
You've been listening to Honestly with Barry Weiss, a production of The Free Press. Find the full episode on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you believe in fearless journalism that pulls no punches, support us. You can do that by visiting thefp.com and becoming a subscriber today.